Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes Philly Shakedown.
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, Dingbat here, and welcome to the Philly Shakedown Podcast. What is up, Joeyshakes? What's happening?
I'm doing up, man. We're getting through, most of the off season now. Throughout like some second to third waves of free agency, more stuff going out. The Eagles, some things still questionable, and some news is out. So another Sunday.
News is out, baby. News is out, and it's getting. It was kind of a slow week, I would say, but like kind of interesting because I think some interesting things happen that are going to be very, very intriguing during the draft and after and all that kind of stuff. Let's say hi to everybody here. Donnie, what's going on? Cosmo Kramer, Dave Dust, Clark, what's going on? Blake, what's happening, buddy? Fat Fist, Robert, David, Tanner, Sean, Trav, what's going on? How is everybody? Mike, Big Dog, MJ, and then everybody here, anybody I missed, I apologize. Let's just jump into the interesting things first, because I wasn't able to get anything to show, but there was a report, I want to say Wednesday or Thursday, that Jonathan Greenard not only wants a new contract, but he wants Jaelan Phillips type money. And when we were talking about Jonathan Greenard, we were talking about 20 to 22 million. Now he wants $30 million, man. What do you think about that? Because I'm out on $30 million for him.
No, I mean, it's too much of a high price. I mean, we would probably have to say that Greenard's worth, he's actually worth that contract probably more than Jaelan Phillips is. I mean, even from the last few years of statistics. So, that's what we're hearing. We're hearing that Jonathan Greenard that's the basic price. I don't think it's really compensation that's the problem, or it's a post-June trade or whatever they're kind of waiting for there. I think it just comes down to like getting this contract done before he's traded. And if that's the base number, that's like the starting point. That's a big problem. Big problem.
It is a very big problem because one, he's 29 years old, and though he's more accomplished than Jaelan Phillips, I still think Jaelan Phillips has the higher upside, and he's 26 years old. Greenard is 29 years old, so to me that really like soured me on pursuing him when I heard that. If that's true, and that's what they're looking for, But what was interesting around the same time that happened, we got this report. And to me, this changes everything, all right? The Browns and Myles Garrett have agreed to move the $29 million roster bonus owed to him today until August 30th per Field Yates. This would theoretically increase Garrett's ability to be traded over the summer, and it lessens future dead cap hit to a team. Is Myles on the move? And I want to go right in and show you this, because this is how his contract is structured for any team that acquires him. And I think people need to look at this, because one of the things I keep hearing is, well, he's going to be too much money. He costs too much money. This is his cap hit for 2026, $9.1 million. That is very, very doable. 2027, $17 million. 2028, $21 million. Jaelan Phillips get $30 million. Right. 2029, it balloons up to 57, and 2030, which I think after 2028, you probably want to restructure the deal at that point in time. Now, Myles Garrett is 30 years old. However, he's coming off a record-breaking season, and the guy really, except for his rookie year, has had double-digit sacks every year.
Yeah.
Here's my thoughts on it, and then I'll ask you. I think that one thing is certain, and I know there are reports saying the opposite, but I don't believe those. I think he's getting traded. I do not think he will be a Cleveland Brown next year. The way they did that contract, they get nothing, no real relief in 2026. They still got to pay him the $29 million. It's just in August. You don't do this move. You don't restructure that unless you're trying to open the door for a trade. So I think he's gone. I think he's going somewhere. I just don't know where. And I don't necessarily think they're in a rush to do it by the draft. I think this is about future draft picks. I think this could be about 2027 draft picks in which you get guys like Arch Manning coming out of the draft. Because I think if you look at both the quarterbacks they have, neither of them, to me, are guaranteed to do anything.
For a position that they're in right now on a roster that's never competing for a championship, I don't know how they keep a guy like this every single year when there's so many other holes and so many other types of cash flow you could have to other positions that could, you could take his money and probably sign a whole bunch of other guys that could really help them, whether it's on the defensive side or the offensive side of the ball. You're talking about like Max Crosby to Myles Garrett, two guys on loser franchises. Myles Garrett wants a ring. Myles Garrett's been there for a long time, his whole career. I don't care what the Browns say. They could say that this is, cap flexibility, which who knows, maybe it is. But to lower something like this would be more flexibility to trade him. Howie Roseman, I mean, look, we're not saying we promise Howie Roseman's going to get him. We're saying that he probably makes a phone call, and then it kind of, we see where it goes from there. But when you get a player like this, we talked about it before, putting him on this defense next to Jalen Carter puts you over the top. I mean, it is, if you're able to keep A.J.Brown in the process, if you could do that, with the offense that you have right now, and hopefully your offensive play calling is going to be well, Garrett is going to change, completely change. You're set. You're set for the season if you get him. It's over.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, I'm not saying the Eagles will get him. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's getting traded. I do not believe that the Browns, when they say, well, we're not trading, we have no interest, I do not believe that for a second. Their actions show something completely different. And we've heard this before, right? A week before Max Crosby trade, we're not trading Max Crosby. We're not trading Micah Parsons. I mean, we hear this all the time. Of course, a team's going to say that we're not trading a guy because they want to get max value for him. And if you look at Myles Garrett, he will never be as valuable as he is right now. He'll never be as valuable. So the Browns, they're going to do it because they could probably get such a big deal that if they draft right, they can retool that whole team. So it makes a lot of sense. And then when you look at the Eagles, here's the history in the last, year and a half. They tried to trade for Myles Garrett last offseason. Then they tried to trade and were close to getting Micah Parsons. I know Cowboy fans don't want to hear it, but Micah had admitted it himself. So they tried to get Micah. Then they tried to trade for Myles Garrett again during the trade deadline. What did they offer? 3 first-round picks? That was what was reported. Then they settle and trade a 3rd-round pick for Jaelan Phillips, a guy who they only going to play 4 or 5 games. Tried to pay him $30 million or $27 million, didn't work. And so the one thing I think you can look at is the Eagles have been trying to get a premier edge rusher over the course of the last year and a half. And if you take the fact that Myles is going to be on the block, I don't think it's a far stretch to say the Eagles are at least going to contact the Browns and entertain the idea.
Yeah, I completely get it. And I think the Nolan Smith pick is really starting to haunt us now. Unfortunately, I mean, you have a guy that's drafted first round, can't really give you first round numbers as an edge rusher in the league, is barely available. And now this is the situation that you're in. So what are you going to do? You're going to just get a rotational guy in this draft, go into the season, and then try to trade for. And then the Eagles are having a good record. Howie thinks the Eagles are got a good shot for a championship run. He's going to go out and get another guy and get another compensatory pick or whatever. For another edge rusher, which I don't think we should go down that avenue yet again another year. So
no, I don't either. I mean, you can say, hey, well, we're going to go into the draft and just draft the edge rusher. I don't really think that's enough, because a rookie is not necessarily going to be able to come in and play at the level you need right away. I think this team needs a veteran defensive end. They need a veteran pass rusher, whether it's they settle for Greenard, if they go out and try to get Josh Sweat, there's somebody that's on another roster we're not thinking of, Trevon Walt, whatever it is. They, in my opinion, need to get an edge rusher before the start of the season. And it's going to be very interesting. Fabio says, and thank you for the super chat, my man. So what does Jalen Hurts' contract look like? Hurts' contract basically, well, I think he's $31 million against the cap this year. Then it goes up to 42 and then 47 and then 97 in 2029. But I think after this year, I think they probably try to rework his contract. I mean, right now, he's 31 against the cap. That's really, for a quarterback, that's still a really good deal.
Yes.
I think what is like Prescott's like 50 something 1 year it was. So they're going to have to redo his contract in the next few seasons, True. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's very interesting with Myles, because I think he's going to get moved. I believe he'll be moved. I just don't know where. Like, I think the Eagles will be players. I think Dallas Cowboys are going to be players. Now, Cowboy fans think that because he's from there, he wants to go back and it's all settled. It's not. Who else? I mean, I could see the Bears being interested in him. Would the Ravens be interested and try to get him and pair him with Hendrickson? I don't know. But I think it's going to be a trade that happens over the summer. And I think it's going to be something that we've got to watch carefully, because I think multiple teams will be involved in it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it will be right after the draft. And I mean, that's where these big trades usually happen. And the Eagles usually pounce on some of these trades, these trades right before training camp. They've done it before, done with CJ, they've done a couple trades before that time. So it could be, if this thing is going to prolong what, especially the Myles Garrett situation or any type of edge rusher they want to trade for or something like that, if there's somebody else on the radar, then that'll probably be the right time. This way they, could give up with
I think they've got to get themselves an edge rusher. I do. A.J.Brown says, how about we bring back Josh Sweat? He's cheaper and we can draft a wide out safety offense. Yeah, look, I would be all for Josh Sweat. And I think the one mistake the Eagles made, and it was because they were looking at Nolan Smith. But I mean, you look at what Sweat's making, like $19 million a year right now. That's a bargain, dude.
Yes.
For a guy. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely be open to Josh Sweat coming back, I would even be open to Greenard. I just don't want to pay him $30 million,
Yeah. No, I don't either. I have no interest in it at all.
Yeah. If the NFL's smart, they'll send Max to Philly and Myles to the Cowgirls, or vice versa, and the ratings go, oh, yeah, the ratings will definitely shoot up. That's totally true.
Yeah.
Oh, what was those trade offers for Garrett every time Howie tried? Well, the report, and we don't know for a fact, but the reports like from Schefter and those, it was 3 number ones the Eagles offered to try to get him. Now, they were trying to come in at the trade deadline and pry him loose. The Browns didn't go for it at the time, but I think now it looks like they're much more open. And they probably looked and said, damn, if Max Crosby got 2 first-round picks, then what is Garrett going to get us,
Yeah, I mean, you're basing it off of what age? You're going to base it off of statistics. And Garrett's way over when it comes to statistics. So,
Right. And the only downside with Garrett, really, you could say, is his age. He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
But I look at Garrett and I think, man, I think he can give you 4 or 5 good years left. He's got 4 good years left in him. He's got no way. He's played in like no playoff games, dude. like
he's not slowing down. He ain't slowing down.
No, and I don't expect him to get 23 sacks. But I mean, what if it drops to like 15 or 14? That's pretty good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like you said, the appeal is to put him with Jalen Carter, because if you put him with Jalen Carter, that's another level. See, the people that say, like, I see suggestions like, you know, a first round pick and Jalen Carter, or first and this, and like, no, I don't want to move Jalen Carter. The whole reason to get Myles is to put them together, you know?
Yeah.
1 year drumming journey says Philly is literally the best fit for Myles. A deal for AJ is already in place. Browns can't trade Garrett till post-June, just like the Eagles with AJ. Everything reeks of deal basically being worked. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the deal for AJ thing. I don't know what's going on with that. Now, there are reports today that the Patriots and the Eagles will be possibly having joint practices, which really become very interesting, you know, if a trade happens or it doesn't happen, you know. It should be interesting.
That's going to be infested news all of training camp. It will never end. It'll never end. Even in training camp, it will never end. If AJ's on the other side of that, and then, trust me.
If you were able to get Myles Garrett, to me, then I really want to keep AJ. Because where are you going to replace him? Like, how are you going to replace him? You're not going to have the first round picks to do it. So where do you fill that hole is what I'm saying.
I mean, you brought in Omar Cooper Jr. He's a first round pick receiver, which he's good. I don't think there's like elite receivers. I think there's ceiling to be elite. I think there's a lot of ceiling wide receivers in this draft. I mean, bringing in Chris Bell from Louisville, he's another one, but you know, he's like the A.J.Brown clone. He's pretty much same metrics, same 40 times, same everything, probably, you know, but you know, you're not going to get the same production out of any receiver and replace it, whoever you bring into the building. So they've only brought in 2 receivers in the top 30 right now. And it's just receivers.
And coming off ACL, right? So
yeah, from November,
that's going to be a whole nother year.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. But he may become a steal like in the second round though. Because of the injury. You know, the kid I like I've been watching is this Jordan Tyson.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Dude, I think he could be a star. He's just like I can't take a first round pick on him because of injuries. But man, I don't know, man. I think he's got tremendous talent, dude. Yeah. There's a couple guys. There's another guy, I forget what his name is, like Hurst or something like that. Hurst or something. There's a kid 6'4". He looks like, I mean, I think there'll be good receivers.
Malachi Fields from Notre Dame?
No, I don't think it was him. But it's like, I do think there'll be some good receivers. I just don't know. Besides Tate, I don't know if I would take any of them in the first round.
I don't want to take a receiver, period. Like, if you want to take a receiver in the mid rounds, I don't care. If AJ's here, great. But I really don't want to go down this avenue. I mean, that's why I wish we kind of knew if this thing was going to happen, or if AJ puts out like some type of good. But I don't know. I mean, there's nothing going on.
I want to go offensive line.
Same.
You know, Kyle, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, you land Myles Garrett. This would be the best D-line we had since the Gang Green days. It really would. Yeah, it would be the best since that time, because I don't remember so much talent on one line. That's for sure. Christopher Michael, member for 1 month. Thank you so much, my man. He said they've been legit. They've been trying to get a legit pass rusher for 2 years now. If it's possible for Myles, do it. If not, I say go after Max. Nolan ain't it. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I mean, they definitely have tried. And so why would they not try again? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you offered a big, huge deal for Myles Garrett at the trade deadline, why would that change now? when you don't have an edge rusher.
Yeah, I mean, does their draft board change? I mean, do they feel like going after a Reuben Bain? Will they be that aggressive in the draft? Are they going to go down? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, can their draft board change from not being able to make a trade for a guy they thought they were going to get with Greenard and they can't get it done? Do they go into the draft now? You know,
Right.
That I don't know.
Yep. Linda, thank you for super chat. Yeah, Jalen Hurts' cap hit is cheaper than Darnold's. Ain't that something? Yeah, I mean, I think his cap hit this year is not an issue. I wouldn't worry about it until maybe next year. But even next year, they're like what, 103 million under the cap right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, they'll be fine. Nick, thank you for super chat. Any chance Myles get traded before the draft? Yeah, I mean it's possible. I don't think it's impossible, but I mean, we'll see. I find it interesting that the Browns moved the money to the till August 30th. That makes me feel like they're saying, well, we're willing to go through the summer and into training camp and most of preseason with him on the roster until we trade him. Like, maybe a team gets desperate, injury, whatever. But I think that's an interesting day to move that money that they have to pay him.
Yeah, get it done as fast as possible. I would love an answer on one of those two moves for edge rusher or wide receiver.
Yep.
One of them.
Yep. Dad says, honestly, I'm happy with Crosby or Garrett. Crosby will cost away. Oh, 1,000%. I'm good with either. Look, dude, I'm good. I'm good with Crosby. I'm good with Garrett. I'm good with Greenard if we could pay him a reasonable price. Yeah. I'm good with getting Josh Sweat back. I'm good with Travon Walker. I just think
you want anybody
established. They need somebody that's established that can play. Because Nolan Smith, I just don't know where he's at. I don't know where he's at. And I will say this though, on Carter, Carter looks fantastic right now. Like, I don't know if people saw him like at the Jordan Davis press conference stuff. He looks like he's in tremendous shape, dude. And that's what we're hearing, that he's put some muscle on that. Matter of fact, here's a little bit. Oh, that's not it. But here's a little bit of him working out. Like, he clearly looks like he lost weight, dude. And he looks like he's put on muscle. I think Jalen Carter is going to have a monster year. Because you know what? I think Jordan Davis is a good influence on him. And I think Jordan Davis showed him what it takes to be, you have to be in shape and stuff. And let's face it, he wants to get paid. He goes out and has another mediocre season. It's not going to help him in his extension. He wants to maximize value. He has to have a monster year this year.
Yeah. I mean, his shoulder, having those shoulders the way they were last year. Even from the offseason, he was dealing with these shoulders, the clean out for the shoulders since the offseason. So it's been a thing that's been lingering. And there's times where he was in games for a series and has to come out for a few plays and go back in. There was a pain tolerance level with him. So I think he's like, they just need to unleash him now. Now this is the time.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. If you imagine Myles Garrett with him, my God, that defense is jeez. Rawls have found, thank you for super chat. He goes, I'm letting AJ do sit-ups in the driveway. Dude, he could do sit-ups, push-ups, run in place. He could paint his driveway silly. I don't care either. I have no interest in moving him unless I get something really good for him. And even then, it's like, what's the point, And this thing changes like week to week, doesn't it? Like this week we heard that the Eagles are taking and making steps to repair any relationship stuff with him. So it's like next week it'll be on, then the week after it'll be off. And it's going to be a roller coaster ride with him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. It's always different.
Yeah. Rocky, thank you for super chat. He goes, it's a shame Nolan is not working out at edge. Well, look, I don't think we should give up on Nolan Smith. I think we need to treat Nolan like we treated Jordan Davis, kind of in the same way as last year. Like, all right, dude, this is the year you've got to show us something. This is the year. They're probably going to pick his contract up, right? His option year, but not give him an extension. That's what I think is going to happen. And can he stay healthy? If Nolan Smith can go out and stay healthy, then we'll find out. It's hard to know because he doesn't stay healthy. All I know is that stretch in the playoffs where he broke. He had the most sacks in a postseason for the Eagles. What was like 4 or 5 sacks. He looked great.
Mm-hmm.
We need that guy back. If we get that guy, we're not having it. If we had that guy, we're not talking about this, right?
Yeah, I mean, now you see without Josh Sweat now in the rotation, now you start to see some of these other guys if they're going to flourish or not. And with Nolan Smith now, which I they might pick up the option. Who knows? They might not, depending on if they feel like they can bring in a couple more bodies that are producing more than him. Jaelan Hunt, on the other hand, like all he's got to do is just take some of his production and move it earlier in the season. At least there's growth from Jordan Davis. There's growth from Jaelan Hunt, especially as a 3rd-round pick. And now, Nolan Smith has been playing like a 4th-round pick at this point. He really, you know what I mean? So how much does Nolan Smith have to do this year numbers-wise that's going to tell you that, they could give him that big extension? I'm not saying $30+ million, but 1 year ain't going to cut him for $30+ million. I think it'll be cheaper than that.
I feel like he needs to be healthy. Like if he's healthy and he plays, let's say he finishes the year with like 8 or 9 sacks. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I can live and work with that. That would be a vast improvement. But he's got to be he's got to play. That to me is his biggest problem, is he's never healthy enough consistently to develop and get enough snap. Like it's like he plays a couple games and he misses time and he's hurt. From preseason when we got him, it's been one thing after another. So I'm not giving up on him, but I do feel like he's in the position Jordan Davis was in a year ago.
Yeah, I agree.
Big Dog says, I think if the Eagles don't get Greenard, then Kayvon Thibodeau is a backup choice. Still has 1 year on a rookie deal. Could probably get him for a 4th or 5th. Yeah, I think. What do you think about Thibodeau? I think he would be worth taking a chance on if you could. Question is would the Giants want to do that?
I think there's going to be an in-division tax. John Harbaugh's already had plenty of interviews where the main mission of this season and moving forward is being the best team in your division, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles. Like I think there will be an in-division tax. I don't think they're just Howie's going to throw a 4th-round pick, 3rd-round pick over there, and we're just going to get him that easily. I don't think it's going to happen as easily as everyone thinks it will.
Yeah. So. I agree. Tanner, thank you for the super chat. Goes Philly 500. Do you know Seymour Butts? Yeah, we see more Butts all the time. We know that one well. Yes. Thank you for the super chat. That one, Christopher Michael, thank you for the super chat. He goes, if we draft edge early, I like Messidor or Folk. Yeah, I like him. Look, I like Folk a lot. I think there are decent edge rushers. My question is this: how many are going to go before the Eagles pick? So, what, you have 3 or 4 go? So are you picking the 4th or the 5th best pass rusher in the draft instead of the maybe best interior offensive guard or something like that? That would be my question. And then the other thing is you could draft the edge rusher and that'll help you 2-3 years down the road, but how much will it help you in year 1? How much would it help you this year? I still think you need a veteran guy that could come in and knows what to do,
Yeah, I agree.
Daz says 1 Vega, I agree. 2 Warren, 3 Delp, 4 Sutton. The problem is our draft position sucks and Howie's going to have to do a lot of moving around. Yeah, well, I think I take that as a given. Like every year, 4 out of the last 5 drafts, we've moved up. So I don't think that's going to change. The question is where will Vega go? Like, I've heard somewhere like around this, 18, 19 range. Yeah, you got to move up for that,
Oh, yeah. If he gets to that point, you probably earlier than that. I'd probably move up like at least 6-7 spots before that. Try to at least.
Yeah, I don't believe that there is an edge rusher that you can get in this draft. Not when the Eagles pick that is going to come in and be able to be ready to play every snap, set the edge right, and do all those things in Vic's defense. I think you need a veteran pass rusher.
Yeah.
MT Shark, whatever, for 24 months. Thanks so much. The question is, does AJ want to leave? Take care. I don't know. But you know, if he does, you know, then that's taken into consideration. But it's not going to be the end all be all. I'm not giving him away for nothing.
Do you stay this?
He wants to go.
Yeah, and does he stay this quiet because he's staying? Like that's where
Right.
I'm just like, you know, like if he's this quiet, does it mean he's staying with the Eagles? Is that a message? Because I think that's the total opposite. That's just me.
Yeah.
But you know.
I think AJ. If I had to guess, he probably really asked for a trade. He probably was very frustrated with that offense, and the Eagles probably said, "We'll explore it and look into it." But, you know,
no promises.
But no promises. And he said, all right, well, if I have to come back, I'm happy to do that, but I prefer this. And I think that's where it's going to be left. I don't think he's going to beat Terrell Owens. This isn't a money thing or a contract thing. So
no.
I don't see what leverage he really has other, you know, than what he's going to read a book on a sideline.
He's gonna sit out of training camp and sit out of games? Is that his leverage? Yeah. I mean, he's just gonna lose money. It's just gonna go right back into the Eagles cap.
He's not gonna do that. He's gonna go out and play, and he's gonna play well. And then in March they'll figure it out. You know, he might actually like the offense. Who knows? Everybody else seems pretty excited about it.
Yeah, everybody is like night and day from when they were cleaning out their lockers at the end of 24 when Patul was hired, and it just seemed like there was no energy towards Patul being the new OC. This time with Mannion is like Saquon Barkley and Lane Johnson was going to retire. I mean, he decided to come back because he has a lot of trust in this new OC and has looked at Mannion's scheme. Like, he's really excited. I mean, Hurts especially as well. I mean, there's excitement in the building. Maybe A.J.Brown's just like, I'm not dealing with Nick. I'm not dealing with another new offensive coordinator and learning a new scheme. And I'm in championship mode in my career. I want to win rings. I want to, you know, or not even win rings. He wants his stats. He wants his personal.
Yeah, well, and I hope that he wants rings, because if he just continues to stay with the Eagles and win, he's going in the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? Like, you're on that trajectory right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think too much is made of, well, Jalen Hurts doesn't throw him enough volume and all. I mean, he's had his best years with Jalen Hurts. I just don't believe it. I think he was. Look, I think that the whole downfall of the Eagles season, I point to after the Rams game where they all talked, Hurts, Devontae, AJ, and we're like, you know, we need to stop being so conservative and let our guys, which are a bunch of killers, go out and be killers. Then they come out of that Tampa game. I mean, how many times did I say this during the season? I mean, I bitched about it all the time. You're up 24-6 at halftime against Tampa.
You're sitting on
and then they come out in the second half. They looked miserable. They looked like they were losing because they went right back in that offense. And I think that's where the frustrations lie. I really do.
I agree 100%.
You know, I've been a member for 16 months. Thanks so much for support. Bryce Lance is a steal wide receiver. I hope we draft him. I haven't looked into him. I'll have to look into him. You know, Texas Eagle fan says we should draft Emmanuel McNeil Warren. He's a dog. Him and Makuba would be amazing with our trio of cornerbacks. I do think the Eagles are going to take a safety early. But see, all this talk about like edge rusher and wide receiver, to me, it screws up the draft, because the draft I want to focus on offensive line. I want to focus on safety. I want to focus on tight end. I don't want to have to take a wide receiver early or an edge rusher early just because I got to fill this hole. I don't want to do that.
It's unnecessary.
The other guys.
It's way unnecessary to even think about a wide receiver right now. And edge rusher is just what it is, because that's what we've been dealing the last couple of years. Remember, the Eagles signed that wide receiver that's good friends with A.J.Brown. We didn't talk about that. And everybody was like, Elijah Mitchell or Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore.
Elijah Moore.
So, I mean, that's obviously, you know, everyone was kind of putting two and two together. He's a really good locker room guy. He's been to 4 teams, second round pick, in 21, 22. and is going to probably be competing for the wide receiver 4 to the wide receiver 5 spot, on top of having Quez Watkins and Cooper and Darius Cooper and Johnny Wilson. So, I mean, you have some, the Eagles have worked a lot of depth at tight end. They've worked depth at now, at running back with Pierce. And now they're working a lot of depth at wide receiver now for some of these competitions that are going to be going into training camp. So I don't think that means anything bringing him in. Him and AJ are close. Sure. When AJ was having his issues in 2020 with the horrible suicide stuff that he was going through. So this guy is, I don't know what it means. Probably absolutely nothing. It's just weird how 2 and 2 connect like that. They bring in a guy that's really close.
I believe it. I believe it means. I believe they brought him in for that. Like I think they probably want to give him somebody, in that locker room. You don't know what. We don't know what mental issues played a factor into last year with AJ. We know he's had some depression issues and stuff like that in the past. Maybe that stuff was flaring up last year, and maybe to have a guy like that could help him. Maybe, I think there's something to it. I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but I think that probably influenced him on some level,
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, this week it seems like signs are pointing to him staying. So we'll see what next week brings. Rawls have found. Thank you for super chat. Stoutland said he hasn't heard of a new role. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I did see that. I don't know what to make of it, dude. I think he's a little pissed off, to be honest, at the coaches and the front office. I do. I think he's a little bit pissed off.
Yeah. Lane Johnson was on the Fit Whip podcast, and he said last week that Jeff Stoutland was coming back to some capacity. And then Jeff Stoutland went on Nick Foles' show on Friday and pretty much was like, oh, I haven't talked to anybody. So I don't know if, he hasn't signed on with another team yet in the NFL. He's not going back to the college ranks. There's really been no news on it because I figured, he comes back as more of I would love to have him as a scout or just go even be behind the scenes and go out and be a scout, look at offensive linemen every year for the Eagles and help in that regard, unless he doesn't want to be on the field anymore in training camp, or maybe he's a pure assistant on the field where he gets, no interview time. Like you never really see him at all. I think taking away the run game concepts and, really without really not involving him really hurt him, to be honest, the way they treated him.
Not going to him. They didn't go to him. They just did it instead of saying, hey, let's talk. We're going to change some stuff up. Like they didn't involve him in the conversation. It pissed him off. It definitely did. And I don't understand it, to be honest, why they would do that. So I bet you what happened is that Howie or people in the front office say, look, we're gonna get Stoutland back here some way. We just don't know how. And maybe they haven't said anything to Stoutland.
Yeah. The thing I don't get is that they've managed to this head coach has managed to piss off his best player on offense. He's managed to piss off one of his top coaches. I mean, he's managed to almost piss off everybody and do wrong by both of them. It's just amazing how they value these guys so much, but they've never taken any type of accountability or have at least put in some type of they've never tried to work with these guys to make things a little bit better, to make their jobs a little easier. It baffles my mind.
What do you think about this? Because I think this has to do with the coaches too. Eagles center Cam Jurgens went on a podcast and he said before the 2025 Super Bowl run, his disc broke off and got wrapped around a sciatic nerve. So it was just like suffocating my leg. It was hard to walk. I don't know how I was playing. Now that was during the playoffs and Super Bowl run. You get it. But then he goes, he has surgery. Clearly, he was not healthy last year. Why didn't they shut him down? Why let him play through all that? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, it's a little questionable. I mean, now we know why he's been so off. I mean, we thought it was a skill issue, but it's not that. It's more than that. The guy should have, like you said, probably shouldn't have played at all. I mean, You should have put in Drew Kendall, or you should have did something else. And you're still and knowing this, you're still running these tush pushes, and these guys have taken a beating from that the last few years. You're talking Juergens has been hurt literally since the beginning of the playoffs in 25, really the 24 season going to the playoffs. I mean, that's crazy.
Right.
No wonder they couldn't hold their blocks.
He had back surgery. And then, they say it takes a year. That's one of those injuries that takes like a full year. And we've seen it where it's like 2 seconds, they let go of their block. Him and Dickerson. What about Dickerson with the meniscus? And he has surgery. Rushes back to play against the Cowboys. What was the rush? Should have kept him out 3 weeks. It would have been better. So I don't think they did those guys any favor in forcing them to play. And it sounds like the good news is Cam feels much better. Dickerson apparently feels much better. So it feels like maybe we're going to get these guys back healthy, and that's going to make a huge difference on this offensive line this year.
Yeah.
I'm hoping. Young Ghost, thank you for super chat. He goes, if they cut more, do you think it affects Brown? I don't know. I'm sure he'd be disappointed his buddy got cut. But at that point where you're in training camp or preseason and they cut down the raw, it's like maybe, but what's he going to do about it at that point? There's nothing really can be done. So, Kevin, what's going on, buddy? He says, Philly 500 Joey, this is Kevin Heather. Just want to know, have you guys ever thought if the team management coaches told the players or tell the players how severe injuries are at least last a year? Yeah, I think the coaches, I think they probably listen to those guys too much, maybe, because players like Dickerson and Drake, they're going to want to play. Sometimes you just need to say no, we're shutting you down, dude. And if you watch the all 22s, and we talked about this during the course of the years, dude, we should think about sitting these guys. I mean, we talked about it because they clearly, you could tell, during games and going back and watch, they couldn't hold a block. They couldn't play through the whistle. They couldn't. It was 2-3 seconds, and you would see them, they would do that, and they'd just let go. They couldn't hold on. And I think the coaches at that point need to step up and say, look, we love you, we appreciate it, but we're shutting you down. I think you got to be able to do that. I mean, the Raiders did that with Crosby last year. Sometimes you got to do it.
And Cam says he feels good, but he's got to get the pads on and go through practices. You don't know until you really go through it in training camp. And Dickerson's going to be another question because we haven't really heard much besides him going. They both went to Columbia, got the stem cell IV, and kind of reset their bodies a little bit. So we really. This is why you have to rebuild this. You have to retool the offensive line. You got to rebuild it a little bit. You have to go into this first round and go get a top talent. So
you do. I agree. You have to have the insurance of if these guys aren't going to work out or if they're going to be hurt, that you have guys that can come and play. I don't think you could ever have too many good offensive linemen. And look, I don't mind putting Vega at right guard. And then, boom, he's there. And even if he's there for 8 years, whatever. But I that's what I want. I want the offensive line to be fixed during draft, though. I want young guys. I don't want 30-year-old guys on line. I think the whole offense needs to shift young. And you need to, use the salary cap. Go after the stars you have on defense and make it a young offense. Pay Devontae, pay your offensive line, pay Hurts. But it's time to start over the course of years, have a rookie tight end, have the young receivers. You got to make that transition, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
Roosevelt, thank you for super chat. Stout would let you pick an offensive lineman later in the draft. He would. And guys I think, a lot of talk about Proctor being raw and talented. He would be a perfect guy for Stoutland to deal with. What about this Willie Lampkin? I mean, they brought Willie Lampkin as a project for Stoutland to develop. and now he's gone. What about Becton? I mean, does Mekhi Becton come back to Philly if Stoutland's here? I think he probably does.
Yeah.
And I think that the fact that Stoutland's here, I don't think that's why he's not coming back.
They're bringing in a top 30 visits. They're bringing in a lot of tackles. They're bringing in a lot. I mean, they're bringing in guys like Markel Bell from Miami, Travis Burke from Memphis. I mean, these guys are like 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", 325, 350. I mean, even guys that will hit maybe the third round that could. I mean, I think they need to draft somebody that could play right now next to Lane. I think they need to get either a guard or they get a guard or they get you're going to be losing two guys the next 2 years. Lane's going to retire after this year. And because of that restructure with Dickerson, he's going to be gone after 27. So someone's got to play that inside, get polished up for a year. Don't redshirt a guy this year. I don't want them redshirting anybody this year. So we'll see.
Evil says, can you explain to me why it took 57 years to win a Lombardi? Really, for a lot of time, we had bad management. I would say, 70s was really bad. 80s, we started to come around a little bit. I think there was some bad luck involved. I think there was miscalculations during the McNabb era. They waited too long to go out and get a receiver they needed. And, a lot of stuff like that, for the same reasons that it's taken you guys 30 years to do anything and you're in a 30-year drought. Well, you got I think you got about another 20, 30 years before you win one. So don't worry about it. Dalton, thank you for Super Chat. Brett Toth was better center than Cam. I can't remember. Do you think so?
Toth was a better center than a guard. I know that. Guard, he was horrible. Toth had like a snapping issue at center, and then he got a little bit better. So I mean, I thought he was better. I mean, I thought they should have started Drew Kendall, at least give him some snaps. I mean, he was your 5th round pick last year. So, but yeah, he's gone now. He's gone. So they did bring Fred Johnson back, which I'm not surprised. He was going to be dirt cheap. So now you have a swing tackle and a really solid swing tackle. A lot of value there with Fred Johnson. So
I like Fred Johnson. Yeah. I like him coming
back. He's great.
Yeah. Ryland says, I think Cam was playing through it because he felt like he had to. It was probably thinking to himself, what would Jason do? Because Jason played through everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, I think you Cam Jurgens a tough dude, man. He played through that during a Super Bowl run. Landon Dickerson, same thing. Those are tough guys. They're going to play. You have to, that's where you want your coaches sometimes to step in and just say, nah, we're shutting you down. There was no reason for Landon Dickerson to rush back, in my opinion.
No.
Let's see here. If they cut AJ Moore, AJ's going to beat up Nick. Maybe. I wonder why I only want to talk about the stuff that happened since I was born. There's another conversation going on, I think. Let's see here. Okay, so Stowers, right? Didn't he just say on a podcast that he talked to the Eagles? Gary says, in round 1, Philadelphia could turn towards Vanderbilt's Eli Stowers, who set the NFL scouting combine record for vertical leap best position. I like Stowers.
Yeah, his testing was better.
He just was on a podcast, wasn't he? Where he said the Eagles. He was talking to the Eagles, and he kind of liked the tight end coach and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if it's he did a virtual or was he talking about the combine. So I don't think they had a top 30 with him yet, unless it was virtual. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I mean he's a guy, I think could be a decent guy in this league. So yeah, I mean he's definitely a viable guy. I think safety, tight end, offensive line, I think those need to be dressed early in this draft.
Quick, yeah.
Last year, they should have shut him down they should have. I think so. Myles Garrett's the best choice. Wow. Yeah, I mean that changes everything instantly, dude. that changes everything. It's gonna. I mean, what would you like if you had a like? What kind of package do you think they should send to Cleveland in terms of like for him?
Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna have to give up you might have to give up 2 first rounders, but I don't know if you want to do that in consecutive years. You might have to give away your first rounder this year. You probably have to give away a mid-round pick this year. Next year, maybe a mid-rounder. And then maybe they can use a pick in 28, maybe a high pick at 28, maybe. They could do that. I don't know.
They're gonna want a lot. I mean, it is a lot. You know, would you include Nolan Smith in any deal? Do you think that could help push something over?
If it sweetens it a little bit. I mean, how much is it going to sweeten it? I don't know. How much is it going to lessen us giving away another first round pick? I don't think Nolan Smith gets it done.
No, I don't think it would do that. I don't think it would. Like,
A.J.Brown. No. A.J.Brown. Maybe.
Well, you know, every mock draft has like, well, not everyone, but I keep seeing Tate go to Cleveland. Like, I don't know what Cleveland's trying to do. Like they're going to go. Their quarterbacks are going to be Sanders and Watson. Like, look, dude, I think Watson is done. Sanders, you know, maybe he can develop into a quarterback. I don't know, but I don't know what he is yet. You know, so
I heard Watson's going to start because they have too much. Well, they got too much money invested. They got way too much money invested.
They gave up a lot. You know, I'm thinking maybe they're looking at some of these quarterbacks coming out in 2027. Maybe Arch Manning. You know, if you're Cleveland, and if I was a Cleveland Brown fan, here's what I would say. I would say that I think they need to trade Myles Garrett and get a boatload of picks and rebuild this team. That's what I would think. But, you know, when you lose as much as like the Cleveland Browns lose and the Dallas Cowboys lose, you start to look at the player's name on the back more than you look at the team's name in the front. And, you know, they get stuck on it. Like Myles Garrett breaking sack record, great, but it doesn't bring Cleveland any closer to a Super Bowl. Now, a team like the Eagles, it changes everything for them, you know?
Yeah, I don't know why they never want to move him. I don't know why they never want to move Garrett ever. From a roster standpoint, I don't get it. Like when you're really going nowhere, I don't get it.
Well, I mean, think about it. He's 30. Cleveland, let's say Cleveland rebuilds in what? It takes another 2-3 years. So now you're going to be 33, 34 years old. It's like you're going to be paying him all that money. It just seems like if you could get a Herschel Walker type deal, and I'm not saying you should go to the Eagles or whatever, leave the Eagles out of it, but just saying from a standpoint of having a chance to rebuild your roster, I don't see why you wouldn't do it. You know, that said, Cleveland picks, it seems like in the top 10 every year, and they never get any better. You got to pick the right guys, you know?
Yeah.
Andy Jark says, I agree. 2 first rounders is enough for a 30-year-old. On the other hand, could you imagine him and Carter? No, I mean, him and Carter with DeJean and Q and that defensive, those linebackers. No, man, I think it instantly makes the Eagles the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they'll be the talk of the league. If that goes down, they'll be the talk of the league.
Oh yeah, it'd be crazy. You know, Dalton, thank you for super chat. He goes, probably going to take 2 firsts and Nolan minimum. Hell, throw Tanner in there for shits and giggles. They like collecting quarterbacks with preseason. Yeah, I would think it's definitely going to take more than 2 first rounds. If the Raiders got 2 first round picks for Max Crosby, then it's got to take. And what did Dallas get for Parsons? They got 2 first round picks, right? And a player.
Yeah.
So it's going to take at least whatever Dallas got. Whatever Dallas got at minimum.
So is that what they want for A.J. Brown? Is that they want a type trade like that?
Who, the Eagles?
Yeah.
the Eagles wanted. I think the Eagles were asking for a first round pick and then like a mid round pick and a player, which everybody was saying was way too much, and it probably was. But that's because they don't want to trade them,
right?
But for Parsons like 25, so he's really young. I gotta think that Garrett minimum 2 first rounds and a player, probably more.
Can't sugarcoat it. That's probably what it's going to be.
It may be 3 first round picks, dude. It may be. They may ask. Negotiations may start at 3 first round picks. And if the Eagles if you're the Eagles and you really did offer 3 first round picks for them, which we don't know for sure. We only can go what the reports say. But then why wouldn't they get that now?
Yeah.
The only thing that brings Myles' numbers down maybe is his age. But everything else, dude, no. It just he's good at everything else.
Mm-hmm.
He can play the run. He can play any type of defense. Some people are saying, too, that the Eagles went out and tried to get Jim Schwartz as a possible replacement in case Fangio retired. Myles Garrett loves Jim Schwartz.
Yeah,
would they do that thinking that he comes in if Vic retires?
It might help. Got him one of his best seasons, his best season of his career.
Yeah. Dalton, thank you for Super Chat. If you're Howie, you're trying to keep Myles from Dallas as much as you're getting him to the Birds. They're going to have Philly and Dallas in a bidding war. Yeah, I think you're right. Because I think Dallas is going after him, dude. I think the Cowboys are going for him. I do.
Possibly.
I mean, they got 2 first-round picks this year, which I don't know. I think Cleveland wants 2027 first. I don't know if they have 2 firsts in 2027, but no, I think Dallas is going to go after him. And I think if Dallas got him, I think that they would make them a playoff contender. I think they instantly go back to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Are they Super Bowl contender? They might be. He makes that big of a difference, I really think.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Passport says 3 first-round picks and a Jomo, then trade A.J. for a first-round pick, and you recover one back. In reality, he would cost only 2 first-round picks. Yeah, you could do that. I mean, that's a possible scenario. My only question to you is this. You trade A.J., you recover a first. What do you do at receiver? Because now that offense has a glaring hole at wide receiver. You don't have anybody. What are you going to replace him with? You can't take a first-round wide receiver. You don't have a first-round pick. So I just think that if you could avoid trading AJ, do it.
No, and I think people get tunnel vision when it's like, well, you get rid of AJ, you lose the production there. And I get that. And I feel like if they get a number 2, they feature Devontae Smith in this offense. You have Hollywood Brown that can stretch the field. You have a big rotation of running backs. An offensive line that hopefully plays better this year. They need a capable number 2 that could be a little bit above average than capable. Is there one in this draft? Sure. I don't think it's impossible. I think they need to take the production that AJ gives you and stretch it out to other positions, because they're going to utilize wide receiver 3. They're going to utilize a double tight end set, especially if they bring in the future at tight end behind Dallas Goedert. And then both of those guys will be playing a lot this year. So I don't think it's impossible that if you lose AJ, they can't get back to being one of the top offenses. It's just, you lose AJ, people think that the season's over because from a production standpoint. I get it, but Mannion is going to do a lot more offensively between a lot of other positions. So I just wouldn't throw it off the board that the season's over, because, there's not a lot of teams out there that have a 1A, 1B like the Eagles. There's not a lot of that have that.
You would.
Well, they don't have receivers like that going into championship games and all that, especially the playoffs, like I said. So it's
Yeah. You don't have it's not like you're definitely out of the woods if you do it. I mean, you could do it. It's just I would just be interested in who would be that number 2 receiver. Like, is this somebody you're going to go get in the draft that you think can play right away, or is it they can do it. It can be done. I'm not saying it can be done, can't be done, But if you decide to just keep them, I mean, you're instantly, dude, where's the weakness on this team? It's over.
I know.
It's depth. It's all depth at that point, dude. I mean, you have no holes. You get Myles Garrett. I don't think you have even the safety you're going to draft. You don't have any holes. This team's ready to win a championship.
Yeah.
And I think they're ready to win it already. Oh, if that offensive line comes back healthy, I think they vote right back there,
Yeah.
3 firsts and a player would do it. Yeah, I think so. I think it would too. Roll Philly Dogs favorite super chat. 2 firsts, a second. Nolan and Morrow would get it done.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it. I was thinking, and this is a lot. I was thinking a 2027 first, like a second and a third or a fourth in 2028, in 2027, I mean, and then to come back a first round pick in 2028. So you get first of 26, first of 28. You give them like a second and a mid round pick in 2027, trying to keep that first round pick is what I'm trying to do. And then, throw in Nolan Smith. But I don't know if that would get it done or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like I said, if you look at what Dallas gave up for Micah, I think that's got to be the minimum, if not more.
Yeah.
Dog, thank you for super chat. Zero idea how it would work out. But could the Pats, Browns, and Philly work out some complex 3-way trade that sends AJ to New England and Myles to Philly? Yeah, they could. Technically, they could. And then, maybe the Eagles throw in, a first and New England sends them a first too, or something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's ways to work it out. There are. The question is how hot will Howie be for Myles? And all I can say is if we're to believe what was done at the trade deadline, I have to think he's going to be in on it. He may not bite at the end, but I got to think he's going to be in on it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think a phone call might be as far as it gets because I just don't know if they go into this. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if they offered 3 first-round picks at the trade deadline, which were reported, then what's changed? That now you're going to take that off the table?
A year could change everything. Maybe they don't want it. Maybe at that moment they want to give that up. Maybe they don't want to give that up anymore. I mean, things change year to year. You know what I mean?
For me to but it's not like you have a replacement. It's not like Jaelan Phillips is on this team.
No,
you have a giant hole there.
I think if they went for an edge rusher this draft and they went in the second round and were very aggressive to move up, I think Danny Dennis-Sutton would be the closest thing at the next, moving the goalpost back a little bit to the second tier of edge rushers that maybe could be somewhat of an impact. But I mean, it's still Russian roulette though. I mean, it's still a gamble regardless.
Sutton is who I would go after. That's exactly who I would go after.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fat. It's very interesting time because I think there are a lot of things going on, and my gut feeling with Howie right now is that they're doing a lot of things they have to do, obviously, depth wise, but I believe that the big strike is yet to come, and it may be in the draft. It may be after draft, but I think Howie's got a few cards to play, a few hands that nobody's going to see coming. I mean, how many times have we seen the Eagles go after a position and we're all talking about these other guys, and then it's some guy on some other team that we had no idea was available? It could be something like that.
Yeah, and it might be if the Eagles draft a receiver in the draft, people are going to be flipping out if it's early. If the Eagles don't even touch edge rusher this draft, people are going to be flipping out because then they're going to say, "Damn!" Then there's too many unknowns, especially if everything's post-June trade. It's because it's so late. Everybody's going to be flipping out after draft night if certain things happen that we don't agree with, or because there's still massive holes to a certain position. So,
it's crazy because it's when you look at the receiver like in the draft. You have Tate, who I think is a legit first-round pick. But then you got Cooper, who's supposed to go in the first round. I've seen now mock drafts with Jordan Tyson going in the first round. The kid from USC, they got really 4 wide receivers are going in the first round of this draft. That's crazy to me. Like a guy like Tyson, who I think the kid Jordan Tyson, like to me, when I watch, I'm like, this kid, he's got that skill set at the next level, but he's so banged up all the time, dude.
Yeah.
He's got a bad hamstring. I can't take him the first round. I look at like Cooper and I think he's all right. I think he could end up being a good receiver, but there's nothing like that makes me gush over him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I think some of these receivers that are later in the draft, maybe like the Bell, you know, I think they're going to end up being better than whoever goes up higher. I really do. I would just stay away from a receiver in the first round.
I agree.
You know? So, yeah, I wanted to read this. We can't do a second tier edge rusher, though. We tried to roll Nolan out there as the guy, and he shit the bed. We need a legit see, that's what I think, too. I feel like if you go out and you draft, let's say you draft Sutton, right? He may turn out to be a good player, but is he going to solve all your problems this year? Like you need a veteran pass rusher who's effective. Now, even Jaelan Phillips, I mean, look, I thought he had a lot of upside. And what I liked about him was I thought he played the run good and he did the things that Vic likes. But even him, he still, to me, had to be better. And so, like, you got to get a veteran pass rusher, dude. I just think that they do. I think that's going to be a big problem if they don't going into the year.
Yeah, you might be right.
Unless Nolan Smith, you know, has a breakout year, you know.
Unless.
Yeah. If we're not going to fight for Myles, then we should trade up and grab Ruben Blaine Jr. I mean, how far would you have to go up to get him, though?
Top 10.
Like, we're talking like top 10, top 5. I mean, what are we talking about?
He's going to go early.
It's like, yeah, that's the problem. A guy like that going to go so early. And see, I in my opinion, I think the Eagles need to try to land themselves a veteran pass rusher before the draft. So then that way you can focus on offensive line, safety, tight end, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Brown knows they need to trade him while they can, and next year quarterback class is something they can't miss. Trading Myles gets them the picks to get Archie Manning or Dante Moore. That's what I'm thinking too. That's what I'm thinking. If they get, see, that's why I'm thinking like they set that payment that money, that $29 million cash they owe him for $830. I think the Browns may be more interested in the first round pick in 27 than in 26. And they're not going to rush it. They're going to take the best bid. And they may look at the Eagles, and this is a problem with the Eagles, is they look at the Eagles and they say, well, you're picking, you know, you're probably going to pick late. You see, that's why the Browns, we also should mention this, they put out that rule change to allow 3 more years into the future in which you could trade picks away. See, I think you do that because if you're the Browns, you're more interested. Yeah, maybe the Eagles' next picks the next few years are going to be high, but what about 3-4 years down the road when they have to kind of, you know, transform? So they may be more interested in a, you know, some of those later picks for a team like the Eagles or, you know, whoever else may. I don't know if the Rams would be interested in him or not. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Will the Seattle Seahawks be interested in him? I think the Bears will. So that's another thing to think about. Why did the Browns try to initiate that rule change right at the same time they restructure Myles Garrett? But Faith, I agree with you. Dalton, thank you for the super chat, my man. Because if I'm trying to trade up for anybody, it's a tight end from Oregon, Sadiq. Not realistic, but it wouldn't be for an edge. Yeah, see, to me, the way I feel about it is when the Eagles pick, or you know, around when they're picking, I feel like an edge rusher or wide receiver are deep drafts. they're need picks right away.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to go best talent available, I think it's going to be off. I think Vega. I mean, that's my number one guy, but Sadiq would probably be my second. And I would love to see them be able to focus. I want them to focus on the offense and best player available at 23, not need.
Right.
If we go draft the edge, how many edge rushers are going before the Eagles pick? Like you're going to be talking about the 4th, 5th best pass rusher by the time you're picking.
Yeah, they might be down
4th,
3.
5th best pass rusher better than the number 1 inside offensive lineman. That's the problem I have with taking edge rusher. It's a need pick.
Yeah.
What's going on, my man? Bird section in the building. What's up, buddy? He goes 500. I think folks need to remember that Myles Garrett trade would have to be approved by him due to the no trade clause in his contract. Yeah, and that's right. He has a no trade clause, so he's only going to go to certain teams. Right now, the Cowboy fans think that means that he's from that area, so that's the only place he's going. All right, they've told me not to even worry about it because he wants to go to Dallas. Everybody wants to play in Dallas until they get a choice to play in Dallas, and then they don't want to go there.
Exactly.
But the one thing we do remember, if you remember a few years ago, the Eagles had joint practices with the Browns. Yeah. And Myles talked about, he jokingly said, eventually I might be an Eagle. All the good players seem to end up here. And he basically was very open to it. And I think he likes the Eagles organization. And I think he's got a good sense of the Eagles organization because of all the joint practices that we've had. We had another one last year with the Browns. And he's close to Lane, and he was out there for a half hour talking to Jihad Campbell. So I think that him getting traded to the Eagles, I think he would accept that trade at all.
Yeah, there's a sense of comfort with it. Yeah, there's a sense of comfort. So
yeah. And also don't forget that I forgot. I told you not to forget. I forgot what I was going to say. I said, don't forget, and then I forgot. What a moron.
That happens to me.
Yeah. Michael says, guys, the Browns won't trade Myles until after June 1st. Check the cap for him per the post June 1st. Yeah, they might not. And I don't think I think they don't care because I don't think they're interested in a 2026 pick. I think they're interested in a 2027 first because they want to get one of those quarterbacks. So that's why, why do you set why do you set the date to pay them, to pay Myles $29 million? Why do you set it to 8/30?
Yeah.
That means that they're willing to go all summer in training camp shopping him.
Crazy.
Yeah. But I agree, Michael. He won't make it past 4th overall. After Mendoza, I guarantee there'll be 3 straight D linemen: Jets, Cardinals, and Titans. That's what I'm saying, dude. We talk about we need an edge rusher. If you don't have a veteran edge rusher, you got to take edge. Dude, they're going to be 4 or 5 edge rushers gone, dude. They're going to be gone by the time the Eagles pick.
Not even worth it. No, not even worth. Yeah, I'm not taking the 4th or 5th best guy, 5th, 6th best guy. It's never happened.
Yeah, the Browns were smart this year. They put a new rule change because they knew we're doing Myles' contract. They did. I don't know if they're going to accept that rule change, but I think the reason why you say we want to allow 3 more years in the future in which you can trade picks away is because you're looking at teams who are good and you're wanting their picks in the future where they may have a chance to be better than what they're going to most likely be. Okay, here's I got to respond to this because this is idiotic. Phil, I know you're trying to do YouTube content, but Phil, none of this is legit. Stop splitting fake NFL rumors with everybody else. Cleveland not going to trade Garrett. What planet are you on? What planet are you on? you just say, oh, they're not going to trade him. Why? Because you heard that, oh, we're not trading him. Well, didn't you hear that with Max Crosby? Didn't you hear that with Micah Parsons? Micah Parsons, they said 3 days before he got traded, they weren't going to trade him. Okay? Teams say this all the time. A.J.Brown, remember? Remember how much shit we took for mentioning trading for A.J.Brown because the Titans said they weren't going to trade him. And they trade him. See, you got to look at what actions are being taken, not on what teams are saying, because teams are going to say whatever helps them the most. And for you to come on here and say to stop spinning fake news when it's not fake news, and me and Joey have years and years of being proven right on this kind of stuff. So I'm sorry, I take offense to what you're saying because I think I think you're the one spitting fake news and bullshit because you were just saying, oh, I read this on here, so it must be true. I read this over here, so it must be true. Think a little bit outside the box. Think about things. Think about action. Think about history of the NFL and teams not doing what they say they're going to do. So please take your bullshit and take a hike. That's what I think.
Yeah, and like I'm not saying we're always right all the time, but you have to talk about this stuff too. Like when Philly says talk about actions, you're talking about teams over the years that say that they're not going to trade specific players. Nobody's putting out news like that. It's never going to happen. Like there's always stuff going on behind the scenes. Like
maybe you and like 2 other guys in the whole world believe that that's the case. And just because you believe it, just because you believe it's fake news doesn't mean I do. I think it's legit news. And that's why I talk about it. If I thought it was fake news, I wouldn't talk about it. Okay. I talk about what I think is right. And that's the way I go. And people don't like it, the hell with it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to listen. You can click off. But I think it's right. And I think it's legit. And I don't believe what you consider fake news to be fake news. I'm sorry. I think he's getting traded. I do not think Myles Garrett will be on the Cleveland Browns next year. So I'm going to talk about it.
Drop the mic.
Man, you don't like it? Don't talk about it. You don't have to listen. Huh?
Drop the mic.
Yeah. Dalton Davis super chat. The dude's going to tell you Myles won't be traded, but I bet you he thinks A.J. Brown will 100% be traded. Probably. Oh, here's another one. Look at this rebut. 500, you act like you know everything. You was the one of the main people that hated Jalen Hurts. Prove it. Prove where I hated Jalen Hurts. That's so ridiculous. Just show me. Show me the timestamp of where I hated Jalen Hurts. You can't do it. Nobody can do it. Because if you're talking about the reaction video, you're clearly somebody that is a stunad. So we call this stunad of the first magnitude. Okay? Because you have to be a stunad. Because you listen to, you look at a title of a thing, you don't listen to the video. Because clearly, if you go watch the live stream of the Jalen Hurts draft, I say nothing against Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. That's what I said. But I don't understand why they did this now. And so you just say that I pushed the hate on Jalen Hurts. Man, you're so full of shit, dude. You just lost all credibility in your argument. Yeah. So you could take that and go.
Yeah, and it's because I like the player. I didn't like the pick. I didn't like the pick at the time because they just paid a quarterback. Your second round pick should be playing on the field right now. It wasn't hating the player. That's what people don't understand. Like they see a reaction, they just think it's a hate. It's not hating the player.
No,
No,
they watch the 5-minute segment clip, but they don't go back and watch the actual live stream. Because if you watch a live stream, I'm like, I've done nothing against Jalen. I never thought anything bad about Jalen Hurts ever. So he says I pushed it. Hey, it's just bullshit, dude. Stop bullshitting, And then you tell. I love these guys to tell you, oh, you shouldn't talk about this, dude. If we listened to these guys that said don't talk about this and that, we wouldn't have talked. We would have missed out on the A.J. Brown. We would have missed out on the Saquon. Remember the shit we got for Saquon Barkley. Hassan Reddick, I was told I didn't know football because the Eagles would never pick him up. He don't fit their system, and I'm just lying. Like, I've heard this so many times. Dude, if we think it's legit, we're going to talk about it. If it's not, it doesn't happen, that doesn't mean we didn't believe it was a possibility. And when you look at Myles Garrett, you look at the restructure, you look at the damn fact that the Eagles tried to trade him for him at the trade deadline. What are you talking about, man? Seriously.
This is how you talk sports. This is why things are fascinating. Like, we're not just going to give you news. We're not just going to give you news on something and not go into it. And like, we're not going to play the fence. Like, we're not going to play the middle fence where we're afraid to say certain things because we don't want to piss, we don't want to piss our supporters off. But it is what it is. Like, we believe what we believe. We're going to say what we want to say. What's going to happen if it doesn't? We take the heat for it. That's the greatest thing about it. Like, we take the heat for stuff that we're wrong about. And that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to not talk about something, like, we'll go into a draft and we'll make Bijan Robinson fucking hats, and we believe what we believe. And if it doesn't happen, we got our board during the draft. We say these are our top 5-6 players that could go, and if they don't hit, they don't. But it's not a switch up. We believe what we believe in. So.
And we're not always right, and we're not going to be always right, but we're going to give you our honest opinion. And I'd much rather give you my honest opinion than not give you an opinion at all and just be a mouthpiece for what happened. You don't need that. Jim says, tell 500. I had to. Joe says, 500, that's what you have to deal with halfway fans. They put the nonsense content. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. Think about what teams are not saying. Not what they're saying. Laugh out loud. This guy says he's a Philly dude in his name. I take offense to him being from 7th and Oregon, Philly. Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Roll Philly Dogs. Thank you for super chat, my man. Because I don't buy that he's the 5th or 6th best guy. Because a guy we get in a second could be better than Bain. I mean, I think you have to be true to your board. And sometimes, the 4th, 5th best guy at one position may be better than the guy that's the best at another position.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just depends on the individual draft.
Yeah, we're saying 4th or 5th best guy as you don't want to reach at 23 and just get a guy because you're desperate. Like, in the second round, if you want to get that 4th, 5th best guy, it's a better value. So that's value and what round you pick and versus need and reaching for a player are 2 different things. So I don't want them to reach.
Yeah, I hear you. Go after yourself. Remember for 25 months. Thanks so much. He goes, Mortal Kombat. Finish him. 500 wins. Flawless. Put him in the bathroom. Oh, man.
Put him in the bathroom.
That's a whatchamacallit, right?
Bronxdale.
Yeah. Put him in the bathroom. I don't want to wear a towel over my head. Put him in the bathroom. Yeah. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I will never point fingers to somebody who talks about what they want to talk about. The whole point of your channel is to talk about what you want to talk about and what's on your mind. If people don't agree, fine. If they don't like it, they don't have to listen.
And how boring is it to agree on the same shit all the time?
Yeah.
Like, and most of the time we really, and I mean, there's sometimes we have differences. We don't always agree on things. So I'm not going to shit on you for
definitely
it.
not.
No,
I don't even agree with my wife on everything every day. I mean, that's the way it goes. I don't care if people don't agree. I don't like the. What gets on my nerves is the
they said this.
When people say something like, you're purposely doing this, you're being basically dishonest. That's the shit that pisses me off, because I'm not dishonest. I tell everybody what I think, exactly what I think, and I don't hold back. And I know a lot of times, I mean, we talked about before the show, dude, people are coming at me because of my A.J.Brown take, because of my Myles Garrett take. I don't care. I stick up for what I believe in. I don't like the insinuation of dishonesty. That's what I don't like. You don't agree with me, fine. But to insinuate dishonesty or trying to do something because it's slow time, that drives me nuts, because it's not true. I'm talking about, dude, I mean, we text each other. We don't even do a show. We talk about this stuff. Like, talk about what we talk about here is what we would talk about with our friends off of YouTube.
Yeah, this isn't
These are the same conversations.
We're not putting on a persona. Like, we want to be different. We want to be different. Talk about different things, because we don't want to go. I mean, we don't want to go through the trend. We don't want to say what everybody's saying. Like, we're just being us, and we're being what we think is true to the season, what they will do in the off season, and That's really it. We've been doing this 10 fucking years, dude. I mean, we've been the same way ever since. We've never changed.
Yeah.
So
and when we text each other later, I text, dude, we're gonna talk about Myles Garrett. We're gonna talk about the same things that I'm gonna talk to my friends and my family about, or the same things I'm gonna talk to them here. It's no different. So that's all I gotta say about that. Jaelan Hunt is on schedule to be great. He's shown great development, beginning to be consistent. Love to see. Yeah, I think Jaelan Hunt really came on, I think, starting that Minnesota Vikings game where he had a pick six. I mean, he led the team in sacks and he led the team in interceptions,
Yeah,
so
great.
I like him,
Good pick.
Purified, member for 27 months. Thank you so much. He goes, yo, 500 Joey, when you guys start scouting the draft? Well, I'm starting to look at the draft now, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm already starting to do a lot of stuff now, so
yeah,
getting there.
Jibbo says, Phil, you're good. You don't validate yourself more. No, I won't. The great thing is he doesn't have to listen. He doesn't have to listen. I am not going to hold him back.
But you know what, though? It's like, because when you see people say that, it's almost like they're challenging your integrity into what you do on this platform. And that kind of draws the line for me. That kind of, when you kind of step over that line, you see people, oh, you're only saying this because of this, or I can't stand shit. I can't stand shit like that ever.
Yeah.
So
I don't like the tax on the character and stuff. So I don't like. You go there with me, then just move on, dude. Don't have to watch, and I don't have to talk to you. Michael says, "Hey guys, the way Joey looked at Philly when he said we don't always agree was priceless." I'll have to go check it.
I don't even know how it's not even a lot of time. It's not
true.
Really. Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, it'd be stupid if we just agreed on everything, which we don't. So which is fine.
Right. No, it makes for better. It makes
I
for
was
better
like
discussion.
I was like,
oh yeah, I'm sure I say things that he's like, of course. 500 is big because that's why I said thank you, Big Love. Appreciate it. Jalen's jumped Nolan, in my opinion. That's why Nolan is expendable in trade now. Yeah, I agree.
Surely.
Let's see. Philly, you could have two traffic cones at safety with D-line of Carter Davis. I know, right? Like, if you add Myles to that team, I mean, dude, seriously, like, holy crap.
Yeah, bro. It's over.
Yeah, I don't care who's playing safety. We can have Mark Holmes play safety. You're going to be okay. But I mean, you definitely probably go safety, young safety anyways.
Yeah.
But, I thought Jaelan Phillips, when he came to the Eagles, I thought Adoree Jackson started to play better right away. Mm-hmm. And now you have an upgrade there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And you got depth with Jonathan Jones. You got depth there now, too. You got a veteran behind. Reek Wallen, which is great. So.
Exactly. A lot of 500 teams. Yeah, I know, but we can't. We don't talk. We can't talk about that. We can't talk about those things. But that's okay. Derek says, "I'm buying Super Bowl tickets if we get Garrett." Man, it would be great. Mark at safety. Let's not get carried away. All right. Yeah. All right. You get the point, though. No, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Like, I really wonder if this Greenard situation, like, did he price himself out with the Eagles when his agent saying he wants similar to what's his face got?
It's what's happening now, because then, like, I feel like the players wait out when they're going to get traded, and they wait on what other guys get paid. Like, look at JSN getting paid $42 million a year now. I mean, look at the price of wide receivers. They're going up like crazy now. So it's like, thank God we don't really have to worry about a wide receiver problem or somewhat of a new contract for a wide receiver soon, because, the caps go up every year. So I guess it makes sense. But,
yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Michael says, all I know is you both better wear the red jerseys this draft. You guys are truly great, and this is fun. That guy and his people must be robots agreeing with each other. Laugh a lot. Yeah, I don't know.
The Matt Corrals are coming out.
Matt Corral jerseys is washed, ironed, hanging up in the closet, ready, baby. I took it out and was looking at it like this. What are you going to bring us this year? Holy crap, dude!
Yeah,
that's some good luck. You know what's going to happen, right? We're going to have like one bad draft, and everybody's going to be like, "Burn them jerseys! Burn them jerseys!"
Yeah,
it'll happen. Tornville says Howie calls 500 big pimpin'. There you go. Yeah, I would love to get Vega, dude. I mean, that would be like my dream pick, dude. I think it would be such a great pick.
Yeah,
it just gives you security over losing Dickerson in a couple years, and I like and I don't dislike Steen. I just think he's just a guy, I view Steen like
respect.
I view Steen like
he's a good back.
Probably Reed Blankenship.
Yeah, he's not great.
Star, he's all right,
He's fine. Like, he's solid, but they could be better at that position is what we're saying. We could get somebody better. That's what we're saying. Not hating, but
no, not hating. Not hating. I just think that you saw when you add like somebody better to him. Like, right, you saw Steen, but remember what Becton, what Lane, I mean, that was ridiculous.
I know.
500 AJ Stang could be a recruiting tool for Garrett to approve the trade. He wants a ring, and he knows he has a better than average chance of doing it in Philly with AJ still there. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree. And I also think that trading those draft picks away make it harder to go out and just get a receiver to replace them. I think you need a little more time. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Dalton Denver Super Chat. They coat the ball in some barbecue sauce before the game. Mark would be a ball. Mark would have 3 interceptions, dude, a game. Matt Corral. It's the jerseys. Howie will trade out of the first round pick up a first for 2027. Then those 2 firsts will go to Cleveland. Maybe. I think that's not a bad idea. Like, if the guys that you want aren't there, I have no problem getting a first round pick in 2027, dude.
No,
I have no problem.
That's what we wanted. That's what we really wanted anyway. I mean, we kind of want that first round pick for 27. I mean, I would like to get a day 2 pick this year, adding another pick, maybe another second rounder or something would be nice.
Yeah, exactly. Faithful says Steen was the 18th best guard in the league. He was? Really? That's surprising to me. He was our consistent player, most consistent player. Yeah, I think you're right. He was probably the most consistent offensive lineman for sure. But I didn't realize he was 18th. That's good grab on that. I did not know that. Steen is way too. Yeah, I don't think Steen is a guy that can convert to tackle. But I think he could play both sides of guard, though. We wouldn't pay Phillips $30 million per, and he was fit for our scheme and a Fangio guy. We're not going to trade more assets and pay Greenard $30 per. If we're going to pay 30 plus, get Max or Myles. That's what I'm saying too, and that's what I think. That's like we're trying to figure out like why the Greenard thing takes so long. It's because he wants $30 million.
It's a contract, yeah.
They were talking like, how they do those like contract assessments, like they value like what the next contract for this guy is supposed to be. It said 20 to 22 million a year for Greenard. Well, 20 to 22 million, you're like, that's Josh Sweat money. It's
right.
That's about right. That's about right. 30 million, that's going to take him out, Nope,
I'm out of that quicker than quick.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Anyways, what are you up to the rest of the day?
Just chilling. I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
Gonna work on some stuff later, but I'm just chilling the rest of the day.
Yeah. You don't have the assets to get Garrett or Max? Yeah, I don't know where Cowboy fans get some of this shit that they think. You don't have the assets. You don't have the dude, we got 9 draft picks. We got We got all our first round picks. We got more than enough assets and money to get them. We could get Garrett right now, fit him under this cap, and we don't have to move anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, what are we, 34 million under the cap right now? And then we're like 103. It's like, no, of course we have the assets. No, we don't have 2 first-round picks this year like Dallas.
Well, that's
that's
how they're thinking.
That's what he's trying to say. But yeah, you forget you could trade 21st or 2027 first, 2028 first. And I believe that they rather have the 2027 first round picks.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely
yeah. I would never give away 2 first round picks in one draft for a 30-year-old player. I would never do that.
Yeah, I would do it
if I had it.
But I don't think Cleveland. I think Cleveland wants the 2027 first round picks, dude. I don't think they want. I'm not saying they don't want a 2026.
You might be right.
But why put his contract where you have to pay his bonus money, his contract, like $29 million cash? Why put it 830? Why not put it before the draft or earlier? Like, to me, I think they're going to go in the summer trying to trade them. And I think it's going to be about those 2027 first round picks. Now, I don't know. Dallas might have two firsts in 2027. I can't remember, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
You know, so they already have 226 first round picks. No way they want 4 in 2026. No. Cleveland's got 2 first round picks in 2020. Yeah, see, that's 2027 picks. They might be trying to position themselves to get a receiver. I mean, to get a quarterback in 2027, dude.
Yeah.
There's going to be a few, so it'll be interesting. And Myles is 30, but I think he can play another 4 years at a high level.
Yeah, I'd give him 3-4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how he does. I think he's going to make a move for a veteran edge rusher at some point.
Mm.
And I mean, if you look at the last few years, they tried to get Myles twice. They tried to get Micah. They tried to pay Jaelan Phillips. Like, dude, they've been trying to go after edge rushers. I don't think that's going to change, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Browns would want to get Jeremiah Smith in 2020, probably. Well, like, they got Carnell Tate going to them a lot, you know? So Ryan says, "Yo, I don't think Ryan's talking to us." So I'm just gonna ignore that. Steena's ass. First, second, 2/3, 2/4, 2/5, 2/6. Yeah, that's the Eagles draft. And they're not going to keep all those picks either. So I would not be surprised if you see a 4th go to be a 3rd next year, things like that. You know, I would not be surprised. Big Trent says, Andrew Barrett said owners being yeah, and I don't believe that one bit, Big Trag. I don't believe that one bit. If you're going to maximize the value of a guy in a trade, you're going to say we're not trading him. Because as soon as you say, yeah, we're trading him, then everybody offers you less. So, no, of course they got to say that. But the actions, I think, if you look at what they did action-wise, suggest they are. And so I think he's going to get moved. You know, it's just like when the Raiders said Max Crosby's not getting traded and then traded him. It's just like the Cowboys said we're not trading Micah Parsons and traded him. That's kind of a line the teams have to play, you know. So I don't buy it for 1 second.
What about Hassan Reddick? Would you try to re-sign him?
No.
Would you try to sign him?
Yes.
No, you're done.
He's got 2 years of what, like 3? He had like what, 1.5 sacks with the Jets.
2 sacks
last year.
Yeah.
I think he's on the downside. And then this is a guy that doesn't want to do the other stuff that Vic Fangio's defense requires anyways.
Right.
So I just stay away from him. To be honest, I would rather draft a guy, go with a rookie than Hassan Reddick. I'll stay away from him. I don't know what he's got. I don't know what he's got left, you know. So yeah, I would say no.
Looks like A.J.Brown liked a post from Hollywood Brown when he signed some new pictures of him and his girlfriend, I guess, what they signed in the room. So I don't know what that means, but
AJ's going to play it straight. I think AJ, if he gets traded, he's going to get traded. If he doesn't, he's going to come back and he's going to be fine. You know, Clowney's interesting because he's not he's not done. Like he had I think he had 8.5 sacks or something like that.
Still productive. Yeah, he is.
He's still productive. And I feel like we talk about him as an option every year and they never sign him. But yeah, I mean, I would consider him. Why not? I think he's going to come in and produce, you know. I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised the Cowboys didn't bring him back. You know, that's the only thing I wonder is they get Christian Parker and they kind of want to do what we do on defense. Is Clowney looked at as not a good fit for that style of defense, and that's why Cowboys probably could have brought him back cheap.
Yeah.
So
could
he's just not a fit.
Yeah, I mean, oh no, they might be going in on one of those two top premier edge rushers. They might. They tried. They want to give. They would have gave up a lot for Crosby. I mean, they were willing to do it. So not off the table.
Yep. Philly 5 would use trade up back in the second round with all those third round picks would make. Yeah, if there's a guy you like let's say maybe there's a safety or a tight end you like that's in the second that's still there. Yeah, I have no problem moving up, and they may very well do it, dude. They may very well do it. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to stand put and just pick all those picks. I think they're going to trade some, maybe up, maybe down. And for the last 5 years, they've traded up in the first round. The only time they didn't do it was for Quinyon Mitchell. So maybe they're going to use one of those thirds to trade up in the first. You know, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
To me, my goal is edge rusher would be nice before the draft. I would like to know where we stand with a veteran edge rusher.
Yeah.
You know. Now, can we get Ringo out of here? Laugh out loud. Keep him in special teams going. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, I would move Ringo to safety. I would give him a chance to play safety. Not necessarily start, but I still think he could play safety in this league. He's a very good special teamer.
Yeah. He's a straight liner. He's a straight line shooter. That's really all he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I believe the owner, when he's working on getting max value for a Hall of Fame pass rusher. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. They restructure the contract. They try to change the rules about the draft picks. The way they restructure doesn't give them any relief in 2026. And then on top of it, you know, you got a guy who is at an all-time max value. You'll never get more for him than right now. And you're a team that's looking for that Herschel Walker type deal to rebuild your franchise. It just too much action is pointing the other way. So I don't believe what they say. I never believe half of what they say, dude. I don't.
No.
You know, even Howie, when Howie does it, like how many times has Howie said it and then something happens? You know? Now, if they don't trade him, then I'll get on here and I'll go, dude, I'm shocked they didn't trade him. I was wrong. I'm shocked that they kept him. And I'll say, what a stupid franchise. And I'll laugh at him. But I think Garrett's gone. I don't know where he's going. That I have no idea. But I think he's gone, dude. I think he's gone. I don't know. I mean, there's going to probably be 4 or 5 legit teams after him.
Oh yeah, there'll be a big. Yeah, I mean, I think part of it too. They're not just going to trade him anywhere. I think they want to get the right compensation, but I think they want to do right by the player too. I mean, they got to do right by him as well on where it'll work out for him because he's been there his whole career. So,
exactly. What up, 500? Let's chat. Go Eagles. Myles Garrett. Yeah, Myles Garrett would be a huge pickup, my man. It would. G Code says first round pick for Travon Walker. See, I think that's another great viable option. You know, but I feel like we've talked about
every year
Walker for 2 years too. But you know, I mean, everything lines up that they would move him. They don't have a first round pick. You're Jacksonville. You have no one.
Mm-hmm.
Travon Walker's not getting an extension. He's in the last year of a contract where they picked up his option year. So it's like that's another one where I'm like, and they've already got guys. They've got pass rushers they like. I would think they would listen to offers. You know.
Yeah. I would think so.
Yeah. Cowboys offseason has been overrated by Sills. They basically replaced Clowney, Goodyear, 18th best edge, with Gary, 53 best edge, and they gave up a pick to do it. They should have resigned Clowney. I agree. They should have resigned Clowney. They should have let the Packers just cut Gary. They could have got him for nothing. I think the Cowboys have had a very – I agree with you, not hurt season. I think the Cowboys have had – I don't think they've had the offseason they think they've had. I think they've moved the needle ever so slightly, but not much.
Yeah.
That's why a Myles Garrett type trade would be humongous for the Cowboys. I would have to come on here and tell you they're legit contenders now. I would have to say that. But they didn't do it, you know? So we'll see. Anyways, is there anything else, man, before we get on out of here?
I think that's it. I mean,
I said we'd go an hour. We're going an hour.
It happens. There's always a lot of stuff to talk about. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we got another week. You know, we're less than a month away from the draft now, which is good. And you know, the more rumors are going to come out. You know, we'll see what happens on the edge front. We'll see on the wide receiver front with AJ's trade or what's going on there, and we'll see if they add any more depth pieces or whatever they're gonna, whatever else is out there. We'll see what they do.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, for sure. I still think that, you know, I'm looking for them to do something with that edge rusher, hopefully before the draft. That would be nice. Yes. I don't know that that'll happen. I don't know that the Browns want to move him right now, but maybe, you know, maybe the Greenard situation, or maybe, you know, I'll take any of these situations, dude. You know, Crosby would be my favorite, but I mean Garrett would be my favorite, but I'll take Crosby. I'll take Greenard. I'll take Josh Sweat. Like, just get somebody in here that can play that position.
Yeah.
You know. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. But anyways, guys, we are going to get out of here. I'm going to have to go put the Phil's game on, if I can find it. Yeah, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. You got anything coming today or tomorrow?
Yeah, just uploading some other clip stuff, and other than that, that's really it. Nothing crazy. I'll have a video out tomorrow and do some shorts today. But all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. I hope you guys have a great day. We will talk to you later, and of course, don't be a dingbat. Peace out.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad!
No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dad! That was on you, Dad! That was on you, Dad!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott!
Trying to defend the Lamb!
You tried to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb! God! It's over! It's over, Dak! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.